Good afternoon, and Jutai Kripkebo, to our respected speakers, participants, and my fellow conductor. My name is Harshali Kempra, and I'm doing my bachelor's in political science from Gargi College, Delhi University. As a member of the Dimasa Students Union Delhi, I would like to wholeheartedly welcome each one of you present here to this Career Council webinar conducted by the Dimasa Students Union Delhi in collaboration with Dimasa Scholars League. Before the start of the session, Thaishi Thagin important points can mention first of all, Kribbo journey mic off Tenglai, except for the speaker, so that much disturbance chayat hum. Secondly, Jinibu event the multilingual events hai. So Nishi Kribbo Asaba language khabo jingjang sanle fudu, Hindi, Dimasa, English, Assamese, Asababa. Questions tongkhade jinkhe chat box ha nishi side ha reply. Questions. After each and every speaker, jini masi question answer session jama, hora nishi question answer shingla funang. Jinga personally ba message kray funang nishi, hora ha option dong, everyone ni jaga ha nishi thangi list masi baigonang, jinga personally text kray funang, jinga ada ha jing jini speakers brand ni email address brand kebo, jing era ha fununang nishi kaya yakon ha, hora ha nishi asaba questions dong kade, extra nishi bunchike message email Dinini first session is on academics and education. Academics ni it is defined by the Cambridge Dictionary as a part of the society, especially universities, that is connected to the study and thinking, or to the activity or job of studying. It's like a community where people are studying, researching, and teaching about different ways of knowledge in different fields of study, making new communities together and opening new schools of thought. Education is, on the other hand, the study or the process of receiving and giving systematic introduction. Different teaching degrees may specialize in areas such as early childhood education, health and physical education, primary teaching, secondary teaching, vocational education, and so on. They can allow you to specialize in teaching a specific subject matter. A career in teaching can be rewarding. It not only offers you a chance to impact young minds, but also makes you immensely satisfied with the work you do. Today, we are really grateful to have among us 5 esteemed speakers specializing on their respective fields, and we are really thankful to them to have made time for us despite their busy schedule. I also hope that the participants can learn and make utmost use of this webinar and take up a career path of their choice. For today's session, we have 5 speakers. Gedemaji Dr. Monali Longmailai, Gedemaji Dr. Miss Pami Hagjar, Dr. Sabrina Langthasa, Mrs. Suparna Jigdum, and Mrs. Deepika Kemprai Hasnu. Dini first speaker there, but mananga mention kleba, Gedemaji Dr. Longmailai. Dr. Longmailai is an assistant professor in the Department of Linguistics, Assam University, Silchar campus. She specializes in morphosyntax, aerial typology, historical linguistics, language, documentation, and Tibeto-Burman languages. She has sorry, Ani network. Ani network hamya lang ba ang kisa problem chalang ba, sorry. As I was mentioning about Dr. Longmailai, she is the assistant professor in the Department of Linguistics, Assam University. Linguistics, language documentation, and Tibeto-Burman languages. She has edited 2 volume studies on Dimasa history. in India and abroad, and delivered talks and coordinated programs on language and linguistics. Dr. Longmala has also been actively to organization Tiblanai and Dimasa Scholars Lake, both as General Secretary. She is also the Dimasa coordinator for the Bodo and Dimasa Heritage Digital Archive. I would now like to welcome Gadimachik Dr. Longmala to speak a few words and enlighten these young minds on your field of study. Now over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Harshali. And if I'm allowed to share my screen, then. Okay. Good afternoon to everybody present here today for the career counseling on academics, and I'm going to represent the School of Languages and Linguistics. So I'm sure students and participants present here might be wondering, as in like what represents languages and what represents linguistics. So when we talk about languages, I'm trying to talk about modern Indian languages, basically the scheduled languages of India, which are taken for higher education, and also English and foreign languages, as well as the indigenous languages, which I'm calling here as tribal languages for now. So students can opt for studying in any of these languages because when we look about the scenario of Assam, then you can consider Assamese or Bodo, depending on the convenience of the Dimasa students, and Hindi and Bengali, provided you have been educated in vernacular backgrounds, and you can proceed with that. And these definitely will help you in your UPSC exam as well, if you are planning for civil services. And coming to English and foreign languages, well, you can opt for these so that it can help you in your foreign language education and also in getting admission in foreign universities after that. There have been efforts by the indigenous communities to, bring certificate courses and diploma courses, and also the postgraduate and PhD in some of these languages, which are not scheduled languages. So which is why I'm not including Bodo and Manipuri here. So in Karbi Anglong, in the Difu campus of Government College, you will find Karbi being instructed, and Thai languages in Dibrugarh University. Tenidi department is there in Nagaland University, and Department of Garo in Nehu, Department of Khasi in Nehu and Shillong campus, and Garo in Tura campus, Mizo in Mizoram, and Department of Koporok in Tripura University. So these are some options for the Dimasa audiences, if at all they're interested to be a polyglot and learn the local languages. So when it comes to linguistics, it's basically not related to actually learning a language, but it's about study of languages. So what constitutes in study of a language is basically this. The first is phonetics and phonology, which is all about studying sounds and sound patterns. Then morphology is about the word forms and word structure. Syntax is related to study of structure of phrases and clauses. And semantics is basically related to meaning in form and meaning. And pragmatics is in terms of communicative context, and discourse at the same time related to the devices that are used in the communicative context. So these are the basics, or we can call them as ABCs of linguistics. There are others as well, but I'm not going to show them here. And there's an interdisciplinary for which we have all of these subjects, which are part of applied linguistics. So you can specialize in any of these areas, provided the universities provide them for you to specialize. Social linguistics is related to the study of relationship of language and society. Anthropolinguistics in terms of anthropology and linguistics. Ethnolinguistics is again related to language and ethnicity. Psycholinguistics is related to the study of language and the mind, to be more exact on language acquisition, of first language and second language among children and adults. Forensic linguistics is related to language of crime, and linguistic archaeology is related to identifying, artifacts with the help of linguistic evidences. And ELT, of course, because here you have to have some number of English grammar to be acquainted with, to understand how it can be used to be teaching in schools and colleges. Neuroclinical linguistics help you in basically speech auditory functions and language pathology, or also for neurological disorders or speech disorders related to neurological issues. Computational linguistics is basically the interrelationship of language and technology, and it can help you.
Please mute yourself. Kindly mute yourself.
So when it comes to computational linguistics, we're basically looking into developing softwares for language documentation, which can help, as well as the many ways of doing it as language robotics and language engineering for advanced studies. Translation, basically, you all are aware what happens in translation. So it's an advantage for a linguist to translate, literatures from a source to a target language. Evolutionary linguistics is again related to understanding, somehow related to archaeology, but here we're trying to understand biology in terms of the race with the help of linguistic evidences. Stylistics is again basically related to looking into the literary text and the kind of cohesive devices that are used to understand the comprehension. And language pedagogy is basically to build grammar for languages. It can be for any of the MILs, or it can be for indigenous languages. So these are some of the subjects that you can specialize on. I'm not focusing on all. And the scope for learning languages is basically this. You can be a language translator, a writer, an editor, journalist, newsreader, and language officer, of course. And the scope in linguistics is basically you will be a language scientist, and you can get employed in universities and research institutes. There is this Center for Indian Languages, Central Institute of Indian Languages, Mysuru, which has ample scope for job opportunities. And there are also other centers as well. So I'm not going to bring them up here. You can be a research assistant, research associate, a doctoral fellow, and have one of these projects. You can also be a postdoc fellow, and you can continue with some projects, and you can also be a lecturer and professor and be at the same time in academics and research. Apart from research, you can also be a teacher in school education and translator for administrative purposes. You can be a research officer, again for the same purpose, and editor in mass media and journalism. Of course, you can also be an editor in Amazon and Flipkart. Online jobs and the opportunities are on the rise in these two sectors. So when it comes to courses offered, you'll find MIL courses across all central and state universities. And in Assam, of course, you'll find for Bodo, and depending on the state universities, you'll find for Garo and Kokborok and Mizo and Tenidi. And I have opted for these three universities for foreign languages. One is IFLU, the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, and also with its campuses in Lucknow and Shillong for the certificate course, and BA, MA, and PhD in these. Actually, these are the languages which have a higher scope for studies other than French and Spanish, and I think there are other languages as well, but for the Dimasas, I think this could be of interest. JNU as well, you can have a look of the certificate course in BA, MA, and PhD in these languages, and BHU for Russian and Chinese. And locally in Tezpur University, you will find certificate course in Chinese. For MA, MPhil, and PhD in linguistics, I would go for FLU because it has ample opportunities for you to get employed after graduating or getting a doctorate degree from here. And of course, from JNU and BHU and Deccan College, being one of the oldest in teaching linguistics specifically, and University of Delhi, and locally Dishbu University. Of course, there are other universities, but just to shorten the list. And there are BA courses in linguistics as well in BHU and GNU, which is an integrated 3+2. And locally in K3, there is a Timoria College where they have linguistics department. If you have any questions, you can contact me in these email IDs. And regarding the course fees, they're all different and they're diverse. Basically, it comes to 7 to 14K for MA, and for PhD, it might be 14 to 18 or 18 to 30. It depends from universities to universities. So I'd like you to request to check these universities, their websites, and find the other procedures. Yeah, thank you. If you have any questions, one or two, I can take it up and I can end it here. Yeah.
Thank you, Monali ma'am, for the wonderful speech. If any of the participants have any questions to ask, please feel free to ask. We have around 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll be entertaining the questions now. Participants do not have to feel shy to ask the questions. You are completely free to ask whatever question you want regarding the subject.
Harshali, if there's no question, then maybe you can move on to the next speaker. And meanwhile, I have given my email ID in the chat box, so I'm sure that they will communicate with me.
Sure. If you have any questions, please ask Monali ma'am through the email. We'll be proceeding to the next speaker. Thank you, Monali ma'am, for your wonderful speech.
Thank you, Harshali.
Now we have a next speaker, Dr. Pamiti Hakjar. Dr. Pamiti Hakjar currently works as the assistant professor in the Department of Sociology, Dishbu University. She was born and raised in Guwahati, Assam, and completed her bachelor's in sociology from Miranda House, Delhi University, and master's in sociology from Center for Study of Social Systems from Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. She then did her PhD from Guwahati University on birth and death rituals among the Dimasas of Assam. Her research interests include ritual studies, sociology of religion, and health and gender. We would now like Pamiti ma'am to speak a few words on her field of study.
Thank you so much, Harshali. I want to thank the DSUD for inviting me here and to speak on behalf of all my peers from social sciences. If you don't mind, I would like to maybe combine Dimasa and English both, if it's okay, but mostly in English. So social science is a very broad category. Mostly we engage in study of society and the manner in which people behave and how our behavior influences the world around us. Open social sciences having shuni immediate experience bidikle hi bokhenai do or kini society bidehe, how it functions, what are different components of our society. Are of course the larger picture is to understand the problems and issues. So unemployment jala, crime jala, some sort of conflict jala, or even small things like fashion, food, culture, all of that comes within the gambit of social sciences. Most of the traditional disciplines, social sciences, I think people are already aware of. Of course, I come from sociology background, but apart from that, social sciences also constitutes political sciences, history, economics, anthropology, or social work. Then we also have cultural human geography, We have archaeology, parts of it, and then social psychology. And then these are some of the more common social sciences discipline that you will find, which most of the higher education institutes offer in India. But now there is a tendency towards more multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary subjects as well, which has very strong social science foundation. And when I mean strong social science foundation, I'm specifically talking about concepts, theories, research methods, or if you are habmatskala for more specialization, then you can actually go to any social sciences graduate kirada, then you can move on to this if you want to specialize. So there is a sort of continuum dong between traditional social sciences and interdisciplinary, and more employments for in terms of work and in terms of employment, they seek people with interdisciplinary background. Some universities, especially private universities, will offer interdisciplinary subjects as well, such as, let's say, gender studies dong, or they have women studies dong, cultural studies, media studies, peace and conflict studies, population studies, international relations. There are different centers, institute, universities, courses that will provide you with your degree on these studies. And that has actually broadened your scope for where you want to work. So if you feel that, yeah, you don't want to focus on traditional social sciences, then you are more than welcome to move to allied multidisciplinary social science background sort of subjects as well, which is really good. One thing I want to add here, it just came right now, is that in fact, the government of India with the new education policy is focusing more and more on making the disciplines multidisciplinary. So if you want, you can actually move towards these interdisciplinary subjects as well. When we're talking about academia, as it was already pointed out, we are talking about research and, of course, education, specifically jini higher education institutions, college and universities. So suppose teaching a habma mijingdu, sikala, you have to do both. You have to teach as well as research klaimanangdu. So it's not mutually exclusive when you're talking about academia in that sense. However, if you are not interested in teaching and you want to focus more on research base, then that's your choice. You can get specialization done, and what you will find is that the route to teaching, the progress in your teaching career and research career is more or less similar. Masters, you have to have your masters. You need to get a research degree, specifically Skanghala, you had MPhil and PhD, but now the tendency is more towards getting your doctoral degree, PhD, right? So bo magin option dong. The other thing I want to talk about is NET, National Eligibility Test, right? So if you want to get into academia, specifically teaching, then NET is very, very crucial. Though, and of course, the minimum criteria for you to be able to appear for NET is you need to have a certain percentage, which is 55 degrees, 55 percentage in your masters. So these are the basic thing. Or if you want to become an assistant professor, which is the entry level point lecturership, higher education, then you need your NET. Very similar is, of course, SLET, which is our state level. So depending on which state you are from, both the state will provide you with that particular qualification. You need not have NET qualification degree, NET qualification if you want to get into research, but NET also comes with certain fellowship, which will always help you to have a much more smoother research process. Like Jini India hala very prestigious la junior research fellowship, JRF. So for that, you need to sit for NET nevertheless. Though So the good thing about net is Dindachna, apart from traditional discipline, which I have pointed out, which is sociology, political science, all of that, archaeology, anthropology, social work, you also get net in the other interdisciplinary subjects as well. For instance, women's studies, ni hadong, social medicine, community health, hadong, international or the area studies, hadong, human rights, museology, conservation. So getting into social sciences is very, very lucrative for you. Or if you're not sure directly coming out of your class 12 and you want to figure out ningadi specialization klema, but what you want to do after your graduation or post-graduation, social science, because it is so broad, you have that mashi flexibility for you to decide. Of course, all the other, if you have gone through the seminar program list, you can do other things as well with your social science background. It's not just about getting work, but social science, you learn certain things that actually, as with all other disciplines, of course, but since I'm from social sciences, I can tell you the things you learn do not go to waste. There is a lot of scope to build your presentation skills, report writing skills. In fact, all the major institute, universities, India, they have a very intensive social science program. Obani research phailangu, graduation hunting. So these are certain skills that will not go to waste for you. Communication hamdaudu, how you analyze, how you critically think, it adds to your own personality development. That is what I personally feel after getting into sociology. Now, so these are few things that I want you to keep in mind. Civil service, social science is a very, very lucrative subject to get into, because like I said, civil servant you need to have a certain way of looking at things and analyzing society. Directly you need to understand how society works. You will find that so many of the questions that come in all these competitive exams are based on Indian culture, societies, the problems, how you will tackle with it. So getting into social science is actually quite advantageous for you in that sense. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is, of course, the career prospects if you directly just follow the social science the trajectory of just doing social science one after the other. Teaching is, of course, Monalibo, she has emphasized on it. Teaching and research is some of the more popular ones, but you can also become program developer. Corporate, there is a lot of demand for people with social science background. When you want to get into management as well, social science is very good. When you want to become advisor, counselor in government as well as non-governmental organizations, you can be a consultant, you can be a counselor, project fellow, you can go for project fellow. You can be a data analyst, you can be a content creator. Anything that involves figuring out how human society works is open to you. I can personally vouch, because my friends and my other peers have gone into variety of field after getting social sciences degrees. My students have gone into variety of occupation after getting social science. So there is no limit, though. If you feel that getting into universities, institute is a concern, due to different constraints, scholarships are also available, both government as well as private. Of course, scholarship, if you want to avail scholarship, then you need to work equally hard. You need to have a good academic background, school hunting. So graduation, you have post-metric scholarship, SC/ST scholarship. These are given by the government. No, private scholarships generally come once you want to pursue higher learning. So you want to go abroad, but even in India, if you want to do research-based work, then scholarship, there is plenty of scholarship available. And I encourage you to look more into scholarships as you grow older, because there is no dearth of it. And because we are such a vibrant community, we have so much to offer to the academic world in terms of our culture, language, any history. There is so much work to be done. So please go for scholarships. It's available though. Specifically, I want to talk about one particular or governmental organization, which is ICSSR, Indian Council for Social Sciences Research. Social ICSSR ni given institutes dong about, I think, or affiliated institutes, maybe around 30 plus India ha. Northeast also has their own ICSSR office, which is in Shillong, and they give out PhD degrees as well as research degrees, and they will also fund for it. So if you are worried that, oh, I will not get a admission in the top institutes or anything, you always have this. There are of course centers, CSDS, IISc, all these other premium institutes. So there is a lot of scope. There is no dearth of seats if you really want to pursue a degree in social sciences, right? So these things are all open for you. Now, if you feel that for some constraining budget, but you also want to gain work experience, but you also want a degree, then you have the option for open distance learning, right? And IGNU, KK Hendrik, or the Guwahati University, at least Northeast, they offer excellent degrees in social sciences. The course material is really good, and the degrees are accepted for work purposes as well. So you have that option to avail really good intensive education even through open distance learning. So that will actually flexibility don't do. If you feel that I'm work experience, I need to do something else, but at the same time, I also want a basic graduate degree, then please consider pursuing social sciences through open distance learning as well, right? So lastly, I just want to conclude by talking about some of the best universities for social sciences in India. Top, of course, for social science, we have University of Delhi, JNU, Delhi Hanning, Jadavpur University, Calcutta ha, top jini Northeast hala jaha Guwahati University, Dibrugarh University, Tejpur University, Nehu, Shillong ha, Assam University, Silchar ha, Delhi Jamia Millia Bodong, Fin Northeast ha, Sikkim University Bodong, Cotton University Dong Guwahati ha. These are the government public sector hado, but private lag ban bangshabi. Really good top universities. TIS Mumbai, TISNI campus Dong Guwahati ha. You have IITs are of course special institutions. Bunchi PhD degree rifudu. Undergraduate hade punchini social sciences giri, but if you want to get PhD, then you can go for the IITs, ISCs, book through dong for PhDs, or they have you have interdisciplinary mashimagin dong do IITs are development studies, which I think when she masters habo offer klaidu if you are interested. Or the South hala top universities la Hyderabad, Osmania, then Bangalore habo dong. Of course, specific colleges la dong dong ning nang jaudutskala. I think every year India Today comes up with a survey which you can definitely refer to for top colleges. No, I'm just talking about the universities in India. So that is it for me. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can always ask. I'll share my email ID in the chat box. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Pamidi ma'am, for your wonderful speech. Chinihaduha masih question dong, Shingba, difference between sociology and anthropology.
Acha, I'll just Ankinchihani email ID mamang share do.
Okay.
Acha. So this, thank you. It's a very, very important question. In fact, it's a very common question that Jingo, we get all the time. There are two ways though, if you want to look at it. One is of course the history of the discipline bedhe baigo na. Sociology ni history bedhe emerge aba po given, or the anthropology bedhe emerge aba given though. So there is a whole mashi theory dong, mashi methodology given dong sociology or the anthropology ni bola more technical terms haning sipa. Dini at this point sociology and anthropology ni mashi, there is a lot of mergers. Angomashi specifically mentioned social anthropology, which is actually a combination of sociology or anthropology, right? So bomashi. However, degree-wise, chimatskala anthropology ni given specialization dong, which sociologists cannot do. Similarly, and sociology ni bo given specializations do dong, which anthropological theories ba concepts ba methods help clay funangnia. Though, so ultimately ning nadi specialization clay do bun bishingha difference dong. Of course, both sociology and anthropology looks at human society. Both nidu. Oboni mashmagin similarity like jing language puridu, culture puridu, caste, class, race, ethnicity. Bola anthropology habodong, sociology habodong. Skabo jing bedehe puridu. Nadi theories use klaidu, nadi concepts use klaidu. Both there are some differences. So, does that help? If ultimately ning nadi ning nadi specifically choose klaidu, that will also have an influence on nini nadi work specialization claima. But there is a difference, but at the same time there is a similarity. Sociology is anthropology. No? Sociology, for instance, if this makes it easier, historically sociology was more of study of urban societies. Now, it has changed over time. So now we study much more broader things. Anthropology in history, it began as a study of more smaller communities and not necessarily Western. No, it started off by looking at non-Western societies. Din dahnade odikle hi differentiation khlaiyaha, but odikle hi start khlaiba. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamidi ma'am, for your answer. Aru asaba questions tongkade duhan shilai. Participants asaba questions tongkade duhan shilai. Ani masih question dong mamu. Jing duha jodi abroad studies nikli jing apply claima mijing khala buni procedure bede thangma like bede process ben ke claima chi bawbang.
Buna, if you want to do on your own skala, there are different private agencies though who will help you gather nadi documents nang do bofula don dong. Depending on the universities ning apply climate skala, they will accept different exam dong do TOEFL ba GRE IELTS mostly for English speaking countries though both to ning lama nang do these exams mahi specific time hazadu pola you can find out on your own, but you need to clear these exams. So you need mashi certificate redo basically these exams. They're not very difficult. It's mostly to check nini communication skill basically in English nina basic knowledge dongna giri math science is check ning clear da. Then you begin to apply to different universities. Ning apply whether it is for master's program ning graduate ba ning PhD claima bopthun claimant you need to give nini jarni SOP chirudo statement of problem chiru bopthuke. So that statement of problem, why are you interested in applying? What are your interests? Nini background, ning school, what skills do you have? Were you members of any club? Nini overall, nini personality, nini mashi point of view, universities. No. So that is the most common way of going into studying abroad. because studying abroad is very expensive, always try to find out what sort of scholarships offer Klaidu. Now, depending on the countries, different scholarships are available. Though most prestigious, let's say in UK hathangma mijingdu. Skala most prestigious jahala Commonwealth ni klai dong, Ratan Tata Foundation ni scholarship dong for LSE or the British Council scholarships redo if you want to pursue studies abroad. This is for UK. US ni klahila Fulbright Nehru Foundation dong, which is very, very prestigious. Or the good thing mashi Fulbright Nehru Foundation is a hala, mane ekdom categories bangshabi. Whether you want to go as just as undergraduate, but which subject, mane given dong. Obani mane US ha thangmanikle scholarship maiba is not very difficult. No. Or the Australia nikla given set dong, fair Southeast Asia nikla hibo dong, Africa habma nikla hidong. So ning you choose which scholarship you think you have a good chances of making, or the you can go. The other way out, the armashi option dong dindakna, because jini India we have so many MOUs na, which a lot of universities and higher education, especially private institutes, sign kla hinnong do bajeni university ha. Guwahati ha, I heard Royal Global University Guwahati, they have a tie-up with a lot of foreign universities. Jini Tejpur University have a dong with Queen's University of Belfast. So it would tie up you can pursue your degree partially in India, or you get this option if it's mentioned in the MOU. So that becomes an easier way out. If you want the dual learning experience, but dual degree nang so these are some of the easier way. No, and like I said, it's open to all. Ninkhali jini which has been pointed out earlier, of course, you just need to keep an open mind, then you can access all of this. I hope that answers your question. Sure.
Thank you, ma'am, for your answer.
Yeah. Gitanjali has a question. If I may just take it. She's saying, can you please mention some of the scholarships here? Yes, I can. Kali, just give me some time. I have made a list. I'll share it as the session progresses. Januda, then
Sure,
that'll be better. No? Yeah.
There is not any questions left. Yajing proceed Klima with the session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Ani turn to her and Chamdu. Now, Derika Langthasa, Miss Derika Langthasa will take over. Miss Derika Langthasa, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Ms. Kemprai. Am I audible?
Yes, Derika, yeah.
I believe the information shared and the guidance given by the speakers in the discussions today would be very helpful to our participants in choosing the right career path. Juthai Kripke, my name is Derika Langthasa. I postgraduated from the Department of Botany, Guwahati University in the year 2020, and it's my honor to take over the second half of the academic session of this career counseling webinar. Please note that it is going to be a multilingual session, so feel free to speak in any language. Joining with us today are three important speakers from different areas of natural sciences. Gedemajik Dr. Sabina Langthasa, from Commerce, Gedemajik Mrs. Deepika Kemprai Hasnu, and from Education, Gedemajik Mrs. Suprana Chidung. Our first speaker is Gedemajik Dr. Sabina Langthasa. She holds a PhD in cross-cultural ethno-entomology of the Mahasau District, Assam, from the Department of Life Science and Bioinformatics, Assam University. She is presently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Zoology, Bibara College, Guwahati. Her area of interest includes entomology, traditional knowledge system, ethno-entomology, taxonomy, nomenclature, entomophagy, and entomotherapy. Dr. Sabina Langthasa is also the co-convener of the Dimasa Scholars League. Doubt and setbacks are also bound to happen in natural sciences, as it is true of other careers, but pessimism should not rule the day. And this is the purpose of this session, a chance to reflect on the many good things about the academic profession in natural sciences. Gedemajik Dr. Sabina Langthasa will be delivering a talk about questions we all have as students who want to make a mark in this field. Questions like, how can one develop an academic career in natural sciences? Research and development careers have been various career prospects after a PhD in Assam and India. So without any further delay, please welcome Gedemajik Dr. Sabina Langthasa. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Derika. I hope I'm audible.
Oh, Kannada, ma'am.
Okay, Jutai, to all the participants and to everyone present here in this career counseling webinar. So firstly, I would like to thank the Dimasa Students Union, Delhi, for giving us this opportunity to share our knowledge. And I would like to mention that, yeah, we are not the career counselors, of course, but I hope that our experiences and our knowledge could be of some help, could be an example for the young minds, for young generations to choose a career in the right direction. So I'm here to speak about natural sciences. So when it comes to natural sciences, we have two disciplines. So these are botany and zoology. So I'll be sharing from my own experiences, okay? So first and foremost, like when you choose a career, you have to make sure that you know yourself, like what you want or what you want to do. In that case, as in my case, like from the very beginning, I've always wanted myself to be a teacher or to be in a teaching profession. That may be because my mom, she is a retired teacher now, and maybe from her I got this inspiration. And yeah, firstly you have to know yourself first, and secondly you need to have a strong self-belief in yourself that whatever you do, whatever you will do, that you can do in that way. And thirdly, of course, you need to have that right focus, or you need to have the right direction. In my case, like from the very beginning, I've always I had an interest in science, mainly in biology. So directly after my matriculation, I opted for this science stream in this PCB, that is physics, chemistry, and biology, and maths as my core subject. And afterwards, after my completion of higher secondary, I went for graduation with my major in zoology from Haflang Government College. And after that, I went for this post-graduation, like master's in zoology with specialization in entomology. So in that way, you need to have a right focus, right direction, like in what field, in what area you want to make your career. So and lastly, I would say that you need to have strong willpower, like whatever you want to do, you are determined to do, and you should have a vision, like whatever vision you have, like you will be able to fulfill it anyhow, like whatever obstacles, like whatever ups and downs come, you should have a strong willpower, you should have a strong determination in yourself that you would be able to achieve what you want to. So like in my case, like after I completed my post-graduation, I got enrolled myself for PhD. So now how to get yourself enrolled for PhD? Like it is not like getting admission in graduation or post-graduation. Okay. Because in PhD, like we have to undergo lots of like processes are there. I guess different universities are different, but the main thing is that like first you should have a mentor, like you should have a guide for, to do your PhD, and later you have to go for this integrated pre-PhD course. Okay, that is for 6 months. I guess that is in every university. It is made compulsory nowadays, and so directly only after the completion, only after like you get qualified yourself for IPP, then you can get yourself enrolled for PhD, and that also for like what to say, for 18 months you get a provisional registration, and only after the completion of 18 months provisional registration you can go for final registration for PhD. Okay, so and like there is not as such like time limit for PhD, but minimum I guess it is for 4 years for completion of PhD. So in that and yes, and coming to career prospect, like if you don't want to go for PhD or like if you want to go for research after your completion of your masters, because for doing any kind of masters, for doing any kind of like research, masters is must, like masters in a specific area. Okay, so as I'm talking about life science, so masters in case like zoology or botany, you can go for that. Only after that you can go for research. You have to get yourself enrolled for PhD also, and you can like after that, after going for research, nowadays like lots of like autonomous research institutes are there. Like we have lots in Kolkata, like then we have like in Nainital also we have that is Aryabhatta Research Institutes. Then we have in Kolkata we have an Indian Association for Cultivation of Science. That is also an autonomous research institute where you can apply for research. Okay, and even after your PhD, you can also go for postdoc. Okay, then okay, coming to career prospect after graduation in the field of life science or botany or zoology, like you can go for like competitive exams like APSC, all those are there, and IFS or IFOS, you can say that is Indian Forest Service. So this exam, like IFS exam, is mainly for the people with a science background. Okay, for that you need the graduation in any any subject, science. Okay, then you can go for under APSC you can go for malaria officer where they prefer mainly the people from zoology background itself. Okay, then again you can go for after your graduation, you can also go for lots. Sorry, just one minute. Yes, you can go for like jobs in agriculture board also because they prefer people mainly from zoology background in agriculture board. Okay, then again, when it comes to interdisciplinary subject, like after you've completed graduation in zoology or botany, you can also opt for microbiology subject, or you can also go for biotechnology subject. But the main but for the people, those who want to pursue the career in teaching profession, like if you want to be a assistant professor, but those people who opted for microbiology or biotechnology, they cannot apply for jobs, that means assistant professor jobs in botany or zoology, because for these jobs, mainly people from pure botany background or pure zoology background are preferable, are preferred. Okay, so if you opt for microbiology or biotechnology, you can go for jobs after your completion of masters, like in research. You can go for clinical laboratories. You can go for like industries like food processing industry. But those things, like basically, I don't think it is available in India right now. Like abroad, you have like lots of scopes for this, mainly for biotechnology. Okay, then coming to this one, yes. Okay, let me speak a few about this one. Net, the competitive exam, that is UGC Net or CSIR Net and SLET. Okay, so UGC Net is basically for the people the arts background, whereas and it is conducted by a University Grant Commission. Okay, then we have the CSIR Net, which is mainly for the competitive exam, mainly for the people from science stream, that is conducted by CSIR, okay, or Human Resource Development Research of CSIR. Okay, then and these exams are held mainly twice a year, mainly in the month of June and December probably. And in this exam, it qualifies the people, candidates mainly for lecturership or assistant professor, or one can also go for JRF. Okay, so if you get qualify yourself for assistant professor, then that validity remains for lifetime. But if you get qualify yourself for JRF, then within 2 years of qualifying the exam, you have to get yourself enrolled in any other institute to undergo the research. And with that fellowship, you can, with the JRF, you can also go for PhD. Okay, and coming to SLET, so that is a state level eligibility test, and that is conducted mainly in Assam. Okay, and that one, yes, in there you don't have you get qualify yourself for lecturership or assistant professor. Okay, then and one thing I need to mention that after your graduation, okay, like after your graduation in zoology, you can also go for this competitive exam, that is for malaria officer, okay, that is conducted by the APSC. And in this job, mainly the people from zoology background is preferred. Okay. And then coming to like some of the reputed institutes where you can apply for this higher education. Like in Assam, we have like the Ishko University is there where they offers course for zoology and botany. Then again, we have Assam University where they offers course for life science. Then we have Dibrugarh University. Okay. Then again, coming to India, in India, we have like lots of universities which is offering courses for life sciences. So, so those are like we have JNU, we have that is Jawaharlal Nehru University. Then again, we have Nehru, that is in Shillong. Then again, we have BHU, that is Banaras Hindu University. Then again, we have in Bangalore, we have this Bangalore Institute of the Central Institute in Bangalore. Okay. Then again, we have Delhi University. Then again, we have in Arunachal or Itanagar, we have this Rajiv Gandhi University. So these are some of the universities where you can go for higher studies in life sciences. So I guess I'm clear from my side. If you have any queries or if you have any questions, you can give in a chat box. And one more thing I can add here, like for those people who wants to go in wildlife research, okay, like now like Guwahati University is offering a separate course like under zoology itself, like wildlife science course they're offering for 2 years. So like people, those who have an interest to go for wildlife research, you can enroll yourself in this wildlife science program, okay, which is offered by Guwahati University. And after the completion of this course, you can get yourself job in any of the like wildlife board. Like in Assam, we have this Assam Biodiversity Board. Okay, so the people mainly from wildlife background are preferred in this, in this job.
Ma'am, we have a question here. D. Khersa is asking, how do we draw the line between choosing a career for income and passion? The job stable income redo bokhe choose khalaiba and hamdoya ba job ke choose khalaiba hamdo braha jini passion dong tikabo braha less scope dong.
Okay, good question. Yang first suggest I do, nishi job apply baha. Firstly, nishi income ke dana mane. Firstly, mane pay bishisadu salary bishisadu ke nishi ke focus dakai da. Because like when you are a new learner, okay, we need experiences, right? And nowadays it's like learning is earning in every case. So when you get any kind of opportunities, as per job climate opportunity might do don't go for the salary first. No doubt we need job security, right? We need salary, right? We need good amount of like salary for a good future, isn't it? But at the beginning, just don't go for the salary option, because in flight palankas ni more experience sama ni experience has kas yawan ni fir giving job by ko ni apply in that way your experiences will increase, and in that way your learning will increase, and in that way you can opt for good better course in future.
Thank you, ma'am. The participants asked a question. The chat box are left now. It is open to.
I will share my email ID. If there's any queries or questions, you can just mail me later. And one thing I think I should say here is mainly it's like our place is very like it is still very underexplored in comparison to other areas. I mean other places and all. So people, young generation, research research they have got lots of scopes, because now even now like 70 to 80% of our areas are still underexplored. So people from life science or people from zoology or botany background can opt for research. Research as scope bangli jin waha mane jini ibu area ha live place to underexplored ja hidong. Our research nikai life science as scope bangli do ban kai young generations kyang selalu if you want to go for research, go for research, because we have lots of scope in our area, in our very district. We have lots of scope. Research time nikai nishi budget mo nang nang niya nishi jar ni jaga dong ini ni chamchi research type na scope bangli.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us in the field of natural sciences. The job is challenging and there are many opportunities to head off into new intellectual adventures. I believe that your words of encouragement and guidance have especially encouraged our participants in pursuing an academic career in natural sciences.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kedemajik Mrs. Deepika Kemprai Hasnu. She is currently working as a contractual lecturer in the Department of Commerce, Haflong Government College. She holds an MPhil and a master's degree from Assam University. She is also pursuing her PhD from Assam University, Difu campus. And her area of research is marketing. Mrs. Deepika Kemprai will be addressing questions we all have about pursuing an academic career in commerce. She is going to share her learning experiences as a lecturer in the field of commerce, the various exams one needs to qualify as a professor, and also give us an idea about some of the reputed universities or institutes students can apply to. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Jerica. Today I'll be addressing about commerce. If anyone wants to study taking a stream of commerce, okay? Now, when you talk about commerce, let's first know why you should take commerce, or why you want to take commerce, or if you take commerce, what will be the subject? Because most of the time what happens is, after class 10, okay, after passing metric, some of them want to go for arts because it's easier. Some of them want to go to science. But some of the students take commerce ladu nabani because musha option giri. bushi art habo thangma mijing ne bushi science habo thangma mijing ne oban to commerce lama only daza. Please don't have that concept, okay? Because what happens is pinching commerce ladut kahi 11, okay? Nini class 11 ha. You will be totally blank. Basically from my experience ang sadaw. Ki ning class 11 je khali join jadu, you'll be blank. Exactly ki ning nursery abede phuriba. A, B, C, D na. Learning, you start learning, you start knowing the language, you start knowing the alphabet. It's the same case in commerce in class 11. See, 11 handing basically understand what is commerce. In commerce, because I might do. Then class 11, lailangban yahon ha, basically ning with the paina. Oh, this is commerce, then buji paina. 12 will become a little bit easier. Then you will come for Become. That's why after 10, okay, be sure. First, be sure कि commerce is lama using do. Then skala commerce having accounts kurmanang do, business studies kurmanang do. You have mathematics also. You have statistics. You have economics. You have finance. You have taxation. You have income tax. There are lots more. Business law, corporate tax, lot. Skala ubani first day ning sure da ning commerce lama ning sihi. Only kasi commerce hat. And I have seen, okay, ang hapang college climates kang ha, ang high secondary habo teaching ka, I have seen many students class 12 na yon na bushi drop out hikla. And sila bushi ban blaya. Shin shikya. Sila commerce lamani basically you need to have an idea about math also. You need to have an idea about each and every subject. English also you need to have an idea because you need to write, you need to study. That's why after class 10, just be sure that you want to go into commerce. Okay? Now, after taking commerce, 11 and 12 is basic. Okay, you'll have all foundation courses like business studies, entrepreneurship, then you'll have accountancy, then you'll have economics, you'll have business mathematics, you have computer subjects. Okay, since you have these subjects in your 11 and 12, so after passing up from 11 and 12, okay, you can go for economics honors also. Many of times we have that notion that ki arts happening economics like that economics honors lakma only niya. Even commerce we have economics, okay, economic subject dong. Sara ning to the economics subject lada ning cluster pass sadu. Sala you can go for economics honors also. Now after that we have mathematics also. Okay, we have mathematics. So that's the reason why if after 12, you said that, okay, I don't want to go for any other commerce subject, so you can go for mathematics honors also. If you're very good in mathematics. Now, third option is you have computer subject also in Meghalaya board, okay. I have not seen in the ASEC, okay, but I have seen in Meghalaya board that they have computer subject in class 12, okay. So what happens is, since you have computer subject, and if you take computer subject after 12, you can go for BCA also, Bachelor in Computer Application. Then after that, if you don't want to go for economics honors, because many of the students are afraid of economics, and if you don't want to go for mathematics, if you don't want computer applications, that is BCA, then you can go for Become, that is Bachelor of Commerce. Okay. Now, when you talk about Bachelor of Commerce, you can have honors, okay, and pass course. There are two types. You can go for pass course or you can go for general. Now, nowadays it's a CBCS system, okay. You have semester wise. So because of the semester wise, you have practicals also, and at the same time, you have theory papers also, okay. Now, in Become, what subjects you will be getting? In Become, you will be again getting accountancy, you will get corporate, that is corporate tax, okay, which is known as company law. Then you'll have business law, then you will have auditing, then you will have income tax, tax planning, then you will have international business, marketing, management, HRM, lots and lots of subjects, okay, lots. There are lots of subjects. So because of the combination of these subjects, the career and the scope becomes more, okay. Now, if after Become, okay, you want to go for job, because ultimately we are studying and pursuing our career is to have a stable life, okay, to be able to earn income. So what are the things that you can apply the job, okay? So after graduation, because of the subjects that we hold. Okay, you can go for corporate sector also. You can go for insurance sector also. You can go for private institutions. There are many private companies. Okay, you can go for auditors. You can go for cashier. You can go for account officer and analyst. There are many options. Okay, if you see, if you go through job applications, then but the problem is you have to have a minimum eligibility criteria. You have to have at least 50% above in order to be able to apply for job. So make sure that when you are studying, okay, don't just study. Make sure that you will have an eligibility criteria. Your patient is also there. Okay, what you like and what you want to do in future. But if it's about in future, it's always about job. You need to have a job. You need to have a stable life. So for that, you have to prepare from the beginning. Okay, there will always be an eligibility criteria. So you will at least need 50% above. So make sure that in graduation, in your class 12, you will at least have first class 60 to 65% and above if you can score. That is more better. Now with BCom, okay, BCom is just a degree. Okay, nothing else. BCom is just a degree. So along with degree, okay, you can opt for CA also. CA is known as for chartered accountant. Okay, chartered accountant. Now, along with BCom, okay, along with there's no rule that you can choose only one. No, if you want to go for CA, you can go side by side with while doing your BCom. So CA, what is CA? Okay, CA is a chartered accountant. So if you become a CA, what is a job prospect or what is a career option like after completion of your CA? That is, you can become a legal advisor. Okay, you can become an advisor in a accounting firm. At the same time, you can open your private chamber. Like for example, in Dba, there are lots and lots of contractors. Okay, many of them are contractors. So at the end of the year, there is a financial period. What happens is how much amount have been spent. There always has to be an account, okay, a record. So this will be verified and written by the CA. Then only the bill gets passed by. So after completion of your CA, what happens is you can open a private chamber. Okay, your own. Okay. At the same time, you can, if you don't want to go for your private chamber, you don't want to go open your private, then you can go for advisory. You can go for accounting firms. There are lots. Okay, even in government sector, even in private sector, you can have a job. Now, CA has 3 parts. Okay, 3 exams. You have all exams. There are 6 exams because every year they will conduct 2 exams. Okay, so when you talk about CA, it's very, very, very tough. You need patience also. At the same time, you will need a memory capacity. Okay, because CA is a very, very tough to clear. At the same time, you have to be really focused and know that you can give up your happiness, because studying CA is forgetting your enjoyment, because you will have to remember everything from the beginning to the end. Because first you will have to go for CPT. Okay, first exam is for CPT, that is for your next common pro efficiency test. Then second will be for your IPCC. Then third will be your final course. Okay, that is FC. So if you want to go for CA along with BCom, that is also possible. Okay, but be 100% sure that you will be able to complete your CA, because CA is very tough. Very tough means very tough, because you will get a subject about accountancy, income tax, and you will have a legal, even you'll have a legal subjects also, like how you have in law, sections, under sections. So you will have to remember. You will also have terminologies, like you cannot make up your own. You have to write down exactly the same term, same name, same terminology. You cannot change it. That's why it becomes more tougher. Okay. Now, after CA, if you don't want to go for CA, okay, CA is tougher. That's why you don't want to go for CA. You can again go for CS. Okay, CS, that is known as the company secretary. Okay, company secretary. This also can be done side by side with your BCom. Okay, side by side with your BCom, just like your CA. Okay, but if you pursue your CS after your graduation, then you can skip one course, that is foundation course. Okay, but if you go side by side with Become, you have to complete 3 courses. Okay, you'll have 3. That is your foundation, executive, then last will be your training. Okay, so if you go for CS, what can you become? If you go for pursuing a career in CS, okay, you can work in companies, become their legal advisor, conduct their board of meeting, advise, giving an advice as how the business can go on. They will need your signature. Okay, you are the representative. You will represent the company. That is exactly what is company secretary. Okay, the particular person will conduct all the meetings at the same time having advice. So there will be a subject of law. That is like you cannot avoid. So CA is little bit easier than your CA. Okay, and I will also say that in order to pursue CS, okay, the student, like those who belong from ST category, they will also have a concession of 50% off in their fee structure. Okay, and there are lots of actually facilities for ST category. They get lots of in their fee. They will have deduction. They don't have to pay as much as what other general people are paying. So don't think that it will be a financial burden, because you get lots of scholarships, as Pami ma'am has said. So after CS, okay, you don't want to go for CA also, you don't want to go for CS also. Then what you can do is after 12th, okay, there is an integrated course. Now it's a new course. Okay, before there was no such courses, but now they have introduced. It is known as Become LLB. Okay, it is known as Become LLB. It is a 5 years course. Okay, 5 years. So in this Become LLB, okay, in this they will be teaching you about the Become also, like what is being taught in graduation. At the same time, you will get a subject of the law. So you can go for Become LLB. Then after class 12, you can also opt for BBA. Okay, BBA, that is Bachelor in Business Administration. So you will get subjects like finance, human resource, marketing, foreign trade, banking and investment, hotel management, then consultant, etc. There are lots and lots to choose from. So basically, what is the difference between BCom and DBA? Okay, BCom is simply a diploma, a degree. Okay, you can say it's a degree. But in DBA, what happens is you will have case study. You will have to go for case studies. You will have to go for how they sell the product in the field. Okay, you will get a field experiences in DBA, but in BCom you will not get that field experiences. Okay, except that you have in the last semester you will have some projects. Okay, some research work, but in DBA it's different. Okay, and then after completion of your graduation, okay, that means you have completed your BCom. Then you can go for MCom or MBA. So MBA can be done through your BBA also or through your BCom also. Okay, MBA is Masters of Business Administration. Now, after BCom, you can go for MCom also, because if you want to be a lecturer, assistant professor, or teacher, basically in an academic, then you can go for Masters. After Masters, you can go for PhD. Now, if you want to go for PhD, or if you want to go build a career in, you want your doctorate against your name, so you'll have to go for PhD. So if you want to really go for research work, make sure that you will be able to carry out the frustrations, the patience that is needed, and the mental torture. Okay, because there will be lots of things to do, because now there is lots of new regulations that have come up. Okay, from 2018-19, lots of regulation has changed. Okay, it's not like before 2009 regulations. Okay, so lots of regulations have changed. If you want to go for PhD, you have to follow that regulation. It says that in new regulation there will be a lot of plagiarism issues. Okay, plagiarism means copying from someone else and you write it down. So that will be counted as plagiarism. But in PhD, we need to see and you need to know what other works have been done. Okay, so make sure that you really want to go for PhD. Okay, you really want to go for your doctorate degree. Okay, after PhD, there will also be a postdoc, or you can go for Fulbright scholar. Okay, but there are some rules which you have to follow. And if you really want to go for PhD, my only request is that if you want to go for a research work, my request is be sure that really you want to go for our research. Okay, why? The reason is
interrupt, ma'am. Time constraint. Time constraint.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Okay, fine. So lastly, I would also like to say that if you really want to go for research, okay, make sure that you will complete it, because I have seen lots of my seniors, they're just on the middle. Okay, after completion of 3 to 4 years, they drop it out because it becomes very difficult. Okay, so I'm just saying that be sure if you really want to go for research. Thank you so much, because time is short. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants ask for questions. Chat box. Ma'am ni email ID bo ijing iraha chat box hari hanang. If you have any questions, you can directly contact ma'am. Ani gede prang masih question dong, ma'am ni.
Sure.
Any question la how to juggle work and PhD? Nini point of view ni prang.
Acha, how to juggle work and PhD.
At the same time.
First and foremost, okay, since I'm married, I'll tell you, you will need a supportive husband. That's for sure. Okay, you will have to have a supportive husband or supportive family, because what happens is you will get lots of frustrations. Okay, because you will get scolded by your guide, not only your guide, you will get scolded in front of your juniors. Okay, in front of your fellow researchers. At the same time, you will get scolded in front of your master's students. So what happens is you will have that frustrations and everything. But keep in mind, okay, keep in mind and have patience. If you want to juggle, if you want to work, and if you want to go for PhD, have a patience, and at the same time, remember what you want to become and where you want to see yourself in the future. That's the only thing that will make you keep going on with your work. Nani it's frustration na na and kaya ha thangam ha am playa ha first frustration nam zade langla du adam krip no kho jabu nam zade langla du chana kadu nin khushi abu kha phaya ni isang gede family bo ni issues tai go langla du over na just focus nin je khal thamshi bai go du na trip dong ham trip dong da jar ke mene chance klema bauna ki king of good things. Okay, ang khai be khala ang ili jana ang uli jana. So have a positive mind and research work. Okay, when you're working, make sure that not even a single day goes without doing your research work. This is only how you can keep a balance between your work and research. Because if you say that, okay, today I will not do my research work, I will go for my college work, then what happens is that one day will be gone. So from my experience, I will say that make sure कि नाले बोनिंग kita konta sheet ka bo na nini college ni khushi dong da noni khushi bo dong konta sheet to atta shomoy hatara konta shimong ding nini research ni khushi keri ki thuri nai te report ni hana ning college ni khushi ko khai tha konta gin lai ba konta thamlai to buni hana ning noni khushi bo da. So this is how you can balance, because khushi thautar langla khala na jadu ultimately jumbled na so you'll be in hurry, so they will not give you a proper work. Also your work will not be good, or they have frustrations for banglang. That's the only the way to keep balancing is every day do your college work also, do your housework also, and do your research work also at the same time. But have a time management. That's it. Research time na 12 ghanta 24 hours mang yachi 1 hour or 2 hours skabo na like every day get back listening. So this is my reply. I hope I'm able to clear your doubt.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for giving an excellent coverage to the areas of your research and expertise in the field.
Hi. I'm masih question dong ba, ma'am?
I'm there.
So thank you, ma'am. We really loved your talk. I really loved your talk. And
thank you so much.
Animashi question dong ba. So what happens is that communication is student butu. So they study advertising. Punya kona after bachelors, they want to work in that field. But then bunchi MBA klaima thanglado. So is that like a fruitful option? Like ujang thang fudu mane odilaini mane. What do you want to say?
See, advertising is a part of your subject. Pura niyada is a part of your subject. We study advertising, we study personal selling, we study salesmanship. So MBA kaibai fruitful nidu na niya shingana. Fruitful nidu na ba niyama because MBA kaiba ha nini different specialization might do. Nini banking sector might do, nini finance sector might do, management sector might do, marketing sector. So nini advertising barapai do. Marketing sector has to pay for that. So this will lead you to gain more knowledge. And as you have to do Scala, you'll have more like promotion options. Right? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Bujika?
Yes, ma'am.
Advertising kay banyan ha MBA fruitful zaruna raya. Fruitful zaruna. It's a degree na. And Scala ning MBA marketing might do. Advertisement ning advertising for ning marketing efficiency. So you will get more and more knowledge. Right?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. We now move on to the last section of this session. Our last speaker for the session is Gidemajik Mrs. Suprana Jidung. She is an assistant teacher at Bihara Bazar MV School, Kachar. She is also currently pursuing a master's degree in education, MEd, from Guwahati University, Assam. And she also has teaching experiences in St. Mary's School, Guwahati, and Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, Tiumbra. She will be discussing on her learning experiences of teaching as a profession, the qualifications required as per different levels of the school. She will also share information about some of the colleges for pursuing B.Ed and M.Ed in the Mahasau and Assam. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Derika. Sekarang doa jutai trip lebo. Thanks to Rakia Abi, di masa Student Union Delhi, di masa Scholars League. Ang time short running ang sanang. Sekarang doa first running. Teacher zaman nikle dilla journey interest dongman angdu interest la krip career journey as per job profession aba dongman angdu skabo mainly teacher ade ning interest girits kade bakal babo effective teacher jafya do ning mane shoshing ni baudu ki salary nikle dada teacher jahanam teacher la jabale bitsi baudu skabo or habu teacher ni job mai babo mamuli niya bugo binding ning stages challenges ang thangman angdu first ang starting bang nang DLED la 12 pass ning clay fudu de 12 ni yon abo ning graduation ni yon abo clay fudu 12 complete zaban yon na ST/SC la 45% jang maidu ode he DLED clay khala ning bun yon na TET lamas TET Assam TET bojating ba Central TET bojating bu clear zaman angma Assam TET bo de Central TET bo both eligibility test skabo jindana Assama issues by gudu as nishtha menedu government journey board nikli na digza khaila rubuna ode he first sala bu Assam TET conduct lai bala LP UP ni kli jaba LP ning DLED class 12 puri dada shiklai ba skala ning LP nation eligible zama bula class 1 to 5 ode he upper primary jo ki jing UP levels to bula ning after nini graduation ni yo na share ga DLED lai do ode he bu upper primary TET qualified cha khala bu na baklai lafdu ode he bu ulibun yo na phai budu B.Ed po 45% nangdu ST/SC nikla hi और B.Ed ni admission nikla hi entrance board wala metric lai ka bungkri board wala demanding ja khabani bo course और he MA ni yo nabo ning B.Ed life do और ST/SC ni la percentage of 45 mas और he ning B.Ed jam khabo TET girits kade ning aspa private school ashin ning teachers of ma government job la mainang niya odehe B.Ed jamba nyo na ning baudu ki ang lecturership ne thangma skala B.Ed jamhi ning B.Ed hanini 55% at nin percentage jama nangma ode bunyo na ning university ha M.Ed nikli apply klai lafdu ang la journey experience ang sma anila Guwahati University hala Kribjang Guwahati University ha 50 seats anaidu origin ST ne klai hi ST hills ne la matam shning seat dongba odehe plains ne 5 tali anaidu odehe Guwahati University garada given magin private dong mashi nogau ha odehe College of Education Nogau ode mashila national National Institute for Teacher Education Ketri bla private under Guwahati University orala charges boksha bangno naidu orazang nogau hala odening M.Ed zaman nangma bu qualify jahase ning B.Ed ni college lecturer jafma odehe buni yona M.Ed jam dada ning PhD bo thangfudu nini MA aspa masters ibo arts sarau M.Ed jamba nyo naning education ni naba ha subject aning PhD klai lafdu odehe bunyo na science sarau nila bushni B.Ed bo bushni la journey master subject klai lama nang neidu according to any professors ban basawa angsiba odehe pirulining asam ala TED la 3 category ni jadu first la LP UP angska abo mention klaika LP UP bula class 1 to 8 or the bunyo na high school TED zada jadu bula 9 to 10 or the 9 to 10 level ke teach klaimane or the secondary level ni TED jadu bula class 11 or the 12 ke ni the teaching klaimane or the science student sherega science background nishang phaidu bushla nadi jadu medical athangladu nyahala engineering athangladu deklai bushi B.Ed la kom je klayaro jinana laksha bai uphaniga obani klai dada science background ni yaro teaching line athangaban klai schools butuha science teacher niklai dada kom jadu doha nubalai skala jini time abo science ni baining school butu abo vacant dong ladu obani sherega medical ha maya ba engineering maya hobo nishi BSc klai dada MSc klai dada B.Ed klai kala hamdau nang khaskar di masaro niklai hi doha di masaro ni bo ha schools butu ha na science teacher jing angskang ha dingbra ha kasturba gandia dangba jini science teacher giri jing ning manage klai laba anyhow odebani klai hi science background nipang sherega jadong bushi B.Ed klai kala hammo ang bauladu odehe fir bunin bang khaibunang gadang NEP national education policy gadang kelakre bo thamaini ka oraha bushi tswa ki yohon ha B.Ed degree mane BA B.Ed ba BSc B.Ed jalanglama buja buka 4 years niklahi like jing aspa course ke jing doha pass course ba major lanang lai major laba hala jini major given classroom aza lanang lai BA B.Ed bu 4 years or the BSc B.Ed bu 4 years or the ibu already Assam University ha 2017 or the 18 bangde shuru jaka 50 student ni capacity lahi or the Tejpur University ha bo 2017 18 ha ora ha bo shuru jaka or the bunyo na college la M.Ed nela Guwahati University in Langska, Guwahati University Education Department of 50 intake dong, or they given la College of Education Noga, or the Department of or the National Institute for Teacher Education, Bubo Guwahati University Nandara 50-50 intake zahi, or the Assam University hadong, Assam University or the Ulining Fir Dibrugarh University habodong, or the post day Assam University ni bangero tunaidu climate skala oraha kribo mane shereni financial problems adu bushi oraha khlaila funa odehe silcher hala B.Ed colleges la bangbi odehe firulining Guwahati University ni hala government purely government la bani kanta College of Education bula purely government or the or ha seats maiba budubi or ha 2 or 1 maybe listening ST nikle idongba or the total 100 intake dongba ni 10 seats ning purely mane naba pressures ke laba bushi 90 seats they already government teachers tani dong yaro nikle dese or ha bushi reserve khai teng laba or the or ha fee ba kom jadu or the angla Christian Basti College of Education nipang klaiba angla orani saprau ani teachers ben ke hamzola ka bunchi supportive zabi or they just bookish knowledge niya which overall personality development habo jinke help klaiba wani angla bu college ki ning prefer klaila du fila raula khabo angla given college ki la tharmaya ska bu college ki angla hamjoba ade Dibrugarh University buto habo dong nai du ska bo shibungtu ke bo Guwahati University in under haning khaidao ade booking prefer klaidao ade he given la teacher good teacher zaman nekle dadala good command over your own subject ini bu dohagrang rohajing specialist assistant teacher ani la social dongba social history pol science bu basawani ni subject knowledge dongma nangma ode ning eye contact student rozang ode he punyon ani ni personality partiality jaba hamnya ode nini classroom ke ning environment purima nikli answer nikli dada comfortable climate nangma edenia ki student ro ninke khinma nin kurang rawda nin khin ri bushke disciplinating ma jor jabardasti uli niya last bench khambani chi answer ke na shima uli niya nin bushke bukrip ke banai shuma nangma each and everything or the he dohani new national policy of education teachers ro ke khamdada puri riyahi mane round climate na class sa ekdom active question answering krip ke participate climate uli klahi child centric zama bubran ke importance redu oban jindanan answer opsha teachers raw jongo free zaro nika jani problem to science mani klahi ode he dunyona teaching career in India hala salary la uli hamya nai du kabo salary hamya kabo teaching la machine novel job oban ikle dada angla hamzola du laila be baudu bo ode buniyona skang ancient time ala teachers kela as a guru kribo baun maniba ode he ancient time ala teacher guru ni as a student dong baba ode dong pada da bookish knowledge ka teach klaya buni manners teachers and dong ba hi bu tang ba branch ling ba bu respect laiba ode he ska ancient time nya jini time habo teaching oba some outdated teaching only bookish knowledge maiba kabo jinna nala digital classroom jingke doha naba aids butu media multimedia butu use famous hanidu bu brand use like lanini classroom brand kening effective interesting sampodo jo answer brand bo thuma mijing langma du bakal ba la lecture mung khana da ning computer butu use like ala bunchi pictures brand nu du khamo habalai du bu जैसे कि social history बुटू बुझाई बहला जिनी map और दे boundaries बुटू state नि boundary बुटू फुनुमा नंगु बुब्रेन के use कलेगला effective जादु बुब्रेन के आनी teaching activities आला आंगला यावेदु उली जंगिंग आंग आनी stop के जामरे लहा as per question डोंगा दिन शिशिंग लफना
Thank you, ma'am. Questions as per dong khade chat box hari lafna. Ade heksha time bangya khabani jing wo session ke srap jamri nang bawa.
Acha Suprona ang mashi question Suprona ang mashi question shingma bawa do nini presentation hem chining hamka congratulations ode he mane ibu hato hala jingla pandemic last year frang ning na pandemic ni time ha lockdown nekhle dada ibu hato hala hem chining dukhu zakha so classes la krip online zatharka by jini universities generally universities brand hala problem giri online class khlaiba ora hawa answer ni dukhu zadu skabo ning nadi mane as a school teacher na ode he bubo kachar ha dwa ha tangba ode nini experience frang ning be dekhle dada have you been able to mane jini answer o brain ke mane online medium ha have you been able to reach out to the students or answer only response be de he or jin zama sarau answer brain la be de he cop klaidu ning nadi gazanu kha bu brain ke khichat sirif nang I want this information because mane jini kribera ha scholars raw brain kribo mitsima nang do because ultimately we want to work with education only na obani ibu problem do ha be de ja hidong buke jing mitsikala ya hon hajing mane be dekhle dada ibu problem ke tackle khlaima na online medium answer okay how do we ibu education nya la bai ni yahona loss cha hinang go loss ke yang jing yahona nu hinang so ning nadi experience kha shakhna re hana khna re akala
Thank you, Abi. In question, I'm interesting, Abi. Any experience sounds na ang la or culture ani la Bihara area bu or la mane mostly an la Bengali medium school se क्योंकि ang Bengali medium background thung se phaiba de he bu jaga la mashi rural area mane jaga basa shning or de he most mane bu family butu bo mane lever bangdau bo mobile phone bushni ha biditsma total jini student grong wa ani classroom na ani lai upper primary ani or ha student per class 60 lai ha 10 family nining girnai do smartphones ha ode bani jini mane crcc jini la bushi cooperative hambi crcc ode he je crip school mashi cluster lada da groups lamba online class ne ode he chere gazar ni smartphones dong bushke add lai da bushke daily note khaidu ode he video share klaidu video la jing jar slamya ba bozadu ode jar slamya kalam lai ni YouTube brand ni ke bujing haidu pun si bujikan jadu de bani klahi ode bun yona ulining doha mashi initiative laba jini ora khachar ni education department rani blog hampang ki shere ni ha smartphones giri pun shnikli hi mashi lashi mane notes butu provide kleba bu brand shere ga online class maya bun shnikli hi door to door no ha thangi kli hi local teachers bun shiri hima bun shin no ha bushi study klaila mani klahi ode he buke card dada khachar ke gar dada ang dima hasauni ke lachnang mane dima hasawa mostly town adong yaro mapa shere gaza basa mane jar puri yaro la basa bishike dinana la shaunang do kala shipuri man habahala ode he kribo buma basa bishik nikle hi online classes butu importance ridu Skabo ang nolai bishingi answer ke bunuba jo ki network giri bunshla thauladu lining bunchi khamau habia hiklai recently ang nohadong baha mane ang insist klai bani ang tuition laba uli baha bo ang nuka mane chaushigini ni la family mane boma bukas kanga uli lashi puria kom ularo dong jo gadget yawi barinya na bunshi nursery class nikle hamshning hamya ka bunshla school la thangma bunshla ulining abcd rabashling ma fingers even ang tuition ashu shi auram da rabishling manang ba u nursery class nikle ang hamshning hamya an banuka ibu pandemic ha de he given class 2 3 bunshla words to rabaring yaron nikle da la teachers share laboring do de pur laboring do ode nolai bishing labarha network giri bunshla dal jai thaula balai nudu do ha nai balai skala abi
Thank you, Suprana.
Thank you, ma'am. Listening to your experiences, jing krip can motivate klaika or they jing work harder or they achieve to achieve our goals. And this brings us to the end of this session. I believe it was an extremely informative and above all valuable session since Jinkrip interact on a one-to-one basis, speaker sangbo or the participant sangbo. And I look forward to putting some of the useful information I've learned today into practice, and I believe it would help widen the perspectives of our young participants in academics and education. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Our next session is on business and entrepreneurship. Our respective speakers are Gedemajig Avantika Haflongbar and Gedemajig Rasmila Thausen, which will be coordinated by Sneha Longmailai. But before continuing with the next session, Jing Kisa is a short lunch break ding maduha. Or with this session, 2 p.m. Niprang continue japinma. Please remember that the participants can join the next session's post-lunch break with the second link provided in their emails. I thank all the participants for staying with us. If you'd like to be updated on more such events, please follow Dimasa Scholars League and Dimasa Students Union, Delhi on their Facebook and Instagram pages. Chutai.
Thank you everyone for participating. Jing do hamasi screenshot masi photo lama boba the crypto journey camera ke on kleka de ham khamu. Participants pin journey camera on klai crypto. Day. Crib camera जो संगा on किया करे हम कमु जिन संगा photo शुरू ही next session निकली proceed करें पुना Okay. Sere da shushu on klaya kada hamdo hamu. Thank you everyone for joining with us today. It was a very fruitful session and we hope to see you guys more in the future.